Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. I apologize to you, the people, because I just showed every one of you that I have a little bit of Scooter in me. Once I'm done doing the voiceover and add the soundtrack at the end of the video, I usually remember to turn the soundtrack down so that you can hear my voice at the forefront of the video. But 24 hours later, I realized I forgot to do that on this video. So I'm going to try to upload it one more time for you, the people, so you don't have to listen to the garbage I presented you previously. I apologize. Thank you for your patience. And I love each and every one of you, the people. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Wolf Pit. Today, we're going to be making 3 age-old, classic, delicious gravies that never get old. The first 2 gravies have helped feed us through the Great Depression and feed our soldiers through world wars. The first gravy we're making, it's most commonly called cream chip beef, but also known as shit on a shingle, and can be made with a variety of meats served over toast or bread. But before we get started, I want to send a big special thank you to Dawn Smith for sending me this pretty awesome butane Coleman burner, which will make cooking and videoing a whole lot easier for me, the person. My kitchen isn't very big, and it makes videoing difficult and cumbersome with me, the wheelchair, and the tripod in the kitchen. So this new burner makes it much easier for me to cook in the bathroom. Now, in order to make SOS, you're gonna need the original 4-meat slurry concoction, armored dried beef, which for some reason has become astronomically expensive nowadays. This 4.5 ounce jar costs $6.39. But the good thing about the dried beef is the flavor and the saltiness is equivalent to about a pound of meat. I know that doesn't sound like it makes sense, but once you make it and once you eat it, you'll see what I'm talking about. And although not nearly as good or tasty, there is a cheaper alternative. And that's these 1 ounce packets of Buddig beef that cost 79 cents an ounce. So here's what the armored dried beef looks like right out of the jar. And of course I got to take a test sample. And if you want to, you can soak it. If you want to get rid of some of the saltiness, I don't. And then cut it up into strips. Or you can cut it up into small chunks. And then every good old-fashioned recipe starts off with a half a stick, nope, a whole stick of butter. And I have my heat over medium heat. Now give it a mix until the butter's melted. And then add your sliced chipped beef. And cook it for about 3 to 4 minutes. Or just until it slightly browns and becomes fragrant. And then add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then give it a good mix until all the flour is incorporated with the butter. And let it cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. And then after cooking for 3 to 4 minutes, and all your flour is incorporated into the butter, add 4 cups of cold whole milk. And then give it a good mix. And then add a lot of black pepper. Do not add any salt at this point. Followed by a couple dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Salt can definitely be optional at the table for any kind of weird animals that want to add salt to their cream chip beef gravy at the table. Trust me, I know those animals exist because my mother used to put salt on salt. She put salt on everything. Now give it all a good mix, bring it up to a boil, and once it thickens, it's ready to eat. Now if you have more people to feed, You can also add a little bit more milk to stretch it out some. Now you can eat this however you like, over mashed potatoes, rice, bread, toast, or biscuits. I like to eat mine over toast, and that's how I'm eating it today. You put as much as you want over a couple pieces of broken up toast, and then it's time to eat. And then you scoop up a big old spoonful, or forkful, or handful if you like, and then into the old pie hole and down the gullet it goes. And that's a pure and simple, stick to your ribs, mouthful of goodness. It's rich, it's creamy, it's salty, it's peppery, and most of all, it's satisfying and it's delicious. Now for another version of SOS, hamburger gravy. And you start off with 1 pound of 80/20 ground beef. Or you can use a higher fat content of ground beef, but don't use a lower content of ground beef. So nowadays, even 80/20 ground beef doesn't have enough fat to make a good roux. So you have to make a roux in order to make a good gravy. And you can either use leftover bacon grease, lard, vegetable oil, or butter. And I'm going to use a half a stick of butter. So let the butter melt and mix it in. And then add a 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. And then give it all a good mix until all the flour is absorbed into the butter and fat, and let it cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. Once all the flour is absorbed, add 4 cups of whole milk. Then add a little Worcestershire sauce, black pepper, granulated garlic, granulated onion, and salt. And then give it a good mix and bring it up to a boil. And again, once it comes to a boil, it thickens up and it's ready to eat. Now serve your hamburger gravy SOS over anything you like. I like mine served over top of a couple pieces of bread or toast. It's rich, it's creamy, it's savory, it's salty, it's peppery, it's hearty, and it's absolutely delicious. Oh, and it'll stick to your ribs and fill your belly on the coldest of mornings or evenings. And now we have our final version of shit on a shingle, which normally isn't considered shit on a shingle, and is sausage gravy, otherwise known as biscuits and gravy. I'm not sure why it's not called SOS. Here we have our cast iron skillet over medium-high heat, and now we're going to add 1 pound of Jimmy Dean sage sausage. You can add any brand or any flavor sausage you like, or for that matter, you can add any kind of sausage you like. Now break up the sausage however you like. You can pulverize it into little tiny pieces, or you can break it up and leave it chunky. It's up to you. Now, as you're going to see, these mass-produced sausages don't have enough fat in them like they used to. And that's why they're not nearly as good as they used to be. If you're fortunate enough to be able to get some farm-fresh sausage near you, definitely buy that and use that in this recipe. Or you can use a little bit of lard, Leftover bacon grease or the next best thing, a half a stick of butter. So add the butter, give it a good mix, and then once all the butter's melted, add a quarter cup of flour. And then give everything a good mix until all the flour is incorporated into the grease, and let it cook for 2 to 3 minutes. And then add 4 cups of cold whole milk. And give it all a good mix. Then season with black pepper, salt, and we almost forgot the Worcestershire sauce. Keep mixing until it comes up to a boil and thickens, and then it's ready to eat. And sausage gravy, I almost always have on biscuits, but sometimes in a pinch, I'll have it on bread or toast. You, the people, can eat your sausage gravy or shit on shingle on whatever you like. Biscuits, toast, bread, mashed potatoes, whatever you like. It's your breakfast gravy. But one thing's going to be sure, whether you decide to eat the chipped beef gravy, the hamburger gravy, or the sausage gravy, or if you want to call it shit on the shingle, it's going to be delicious, comforting, fulfilling, and rib sticking, and simply a gravy that you're going to continue making for the rest of your life and enjoying, even if you decide to use cheap or refrigerated biscuits like I'm using. Thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.